Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Womb Witch. I am the Womb Witch, Amber Darwin, and today I am welcoming you to the first ever The Womb Witch's Happy Hour, which will probably be a half hour as we tune into our needs, what is coming through me right now, the channeling, the tarot cards, all of the above. So, first, let's just center in and then I'll tell you what this is all about. Alrighty. So, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And just continue that. Feeling your shoulders drop with each exhale. Feeling the rise and fall of your stomach. Maybe you just lengthen the breath a little bit longer, slowing it down. Maybe this brings you a sense of calm. And maybe it stirs up some chaos. I just want you to honor both, but continue breathing. Part of this channel is tuning in to your soul's wisdom, to your heart's wisdom, and to your womb's wisdom. And I will definitely be sharing my wisdom with you today. But let's just start off holding one hand on the chest and then your other hand, place it on your womb space. And continue breathing. Let this be very nurturing. Whatever comes up, let it come up. Don't force anything. Just be. And I want you to stay curious as to what pieces of wisdom, what pieces of this conversation that we'll be having do you need to hear today? And when you're ready, just releasing your hands and feeling how your body feels right now. I would like to start off this conversation, and it's going to be a conversation between you and me, and between my soul and your soul, and between my inner child and your inner child, and the universe and us. It's just a conversation. I'm not going to teach you any solution. I'm not going to tell you my number one advice or any of that. I just want to become a channel for the wisdom that this universe has to share with us, the wisdom that my soul has come to this planet to share. And if it resonates with you, then that's absolutely wonderful. And I want you to take as much amazingness as you can from this and leave whatever doesn't feel right for you behind, because there's no right way, there's no wrong way, and we gotta stop living in polarity, because life is just complex and it's all over the place. I mean, 3 weeks ago we were going to the grocery store with no issues for most of us here in America, and we weren't having to worry about travel, and we weren't worried about touching our loved ones. We weren't worried about our high touch surfaces. I had barely heard of what high touch even was. I didn't realize. I was like, high touch, why is it all the way up there? No, high touch means like you touch it a lot. We weren't worried about washing our hands 24/7 or touching our face. A lot of us chew our nails. I mean, like, I had to stop chewing my nails because of this. It's nuts. It was absolutely nuts. And now it's crazy to even think about the future. And I've been talking that a lot with my friends, and it almost feels like COVID-19 is just the conversation topic. Like, we can't even talk about another topic. It's crazy. And a big part of it right now that I'm realizing is we just want to know the unknown. Like, what is the world going to look like? And we can't even play with the scenarios because we didn't even see that this was going to happen. Like 2019, we're just like rooting for 2020, and here we are in 2020, and we're like, what the actual, like, what is even life right now? And Marcolena, my friend and partner for the Speak Up podcast, we talk about the fact that what a crazy time to be living. I am fortunate to be in work right now. I work at a nursing home. I am crazy busy. I am not a nurse, but I do everything else kind of ish. I help in most areas like HR and admissions and the front desk and recreation. And it's beautiful. It's wonderful. I love my job, and right now it's super crazy, and I'm very fortunate to have a job. And it's definitely an adjustment for working as many hours as I'm working. And there's a lot of you who are having to stay home and in social isolation, which has got to be very triggering for you, for some of you at least. If it was me, I'd be going stir crazy. I was just doing this beautiful exercise on my first day off in a while. 8 days. It's been 8 days since I've had a day off. So I have this beautiful Monday off, and Jacob and I are drawing this beautiful picture of what we want our house to look like, and I can envision it. And I imagine the attic being beautiful and well furnished and insulated and bright, and it's going to be my office space. Like, that's the vision I hold for this place. And it gave us hope, and it was stirring up creativity. And for a second, we weren't thinking about COVID-19. And all of a sudden, in the pit of my stomach, I felt like the attic was going to be too far away from my office, was going to be too far away from the main house, which means I was going to be alone a lot. And this has been a huge trigger for me most of my life. High school, I would just keep myself busy. College, keep myself busy. And then I just keep myself busy. And to be alone feels uncertain to me. I don't even really understand a lot of the things behind it. Maybe this video will bring some clarity into my life. But honestly, like, sitting home alone, even if I'm doing my business or my projects, I feel alone, and that's a huge trigger. It turns my stomach inside out. That's how bad it is. And I would rather not feel that, so I make sure that I stay busy. I wonder if it's the same for people who have the same trigger as me of being alone and dealing with this social isolation and aren't lucky enough or privileged enough to be working in this time because their job needs to be closed for the safety and well-being of a whole bunch of people. And how god-awful that must feel for them. So if you're in that boat, if this is you who's having to stay home because of COVID-19 and who has to be in social distancing and has to worry about hugging other people or being around other people, and it's stirring up a lot of these emotions and it's turning your stomach inside out, I am so sorry that you are going through that. I am. And that's where my work comes in. So right now, I want you to hold yourself. If this is you, I want you to hold yourself. Like, literally hold yourself. Give yourself a hug. Feel your arms around you. You are not alone. You are not alone. Your soul is always with you. Do you know that? Can you feel that? And answer that. So if you can't feel that, if you don't know that, I have a series of questions for you. And if you do know that your soul's there, how can you tune into that more? So for those of you who do know that you're not alone and your soul is always there for you and the universe is always there for you, how can you tap into that even more? And I want you to write it out. And if you are that person who is really needing some nurturing and some encouragement, and you don't know that information, you don't even feel like you're supported, you just feel alone, and that, like, that's your soul focus, you can't feel that soul presence, I have a series of questions for you. My soul wants me to say to you that she feels for you and she can see your soul. Each and every one of you has one. She acknowledges them. She sees them. She sees your inner child. And that's where she wants us to start. So whether or not you know that your soul is there for you, if you're feeling like you're alone and that's a big trigger for you, let's tend to that inner child. What memory do you have that makes you feel alone? Maybe it's a memory that created that trigger. Maybe it reinforced that trigger. What is it for you? What memory? Can you play it out? Can you visualize it? Can you journal it? Can you speak about it? If you need to pause this at any moment in time, please do. And now, when you play out that memory, I want you to pause it. Remember it. Pause it exactly where you need to pause it. I want you to put that aside for a second. How does that make you feel? Describe it. Give me three words to describe that moment. Write it down. Say them out loud. Now, I want you to picture your best self. This is what I call your higher self. What does she look like? How does she walk? How does she talk? Does she see you? Does she embrace you? Do you need to go up to her and talk with her? She's your best friend. Or he, or they, depending on who you are. But for me, it's a she. And we're going to create series of dates through our happy hours with this one. But right now, I just want you to get acquainted. What words would you describe her? Or him, or they? What clothes do they like to wear? What activities do they like to do? Create this person, your higher self. Get to know them. And you're not creating them, you are getting to know them. Just create that image for yourself so you can continue going back there. Back to meeting them and greeting them, getting to know them over and over again throughout your lifetime, hopefully. I want you to combine that memory you had with your inner child that caused this trigger, or who that reinforced this trigger, that just felt filled with loneliness and all of the feelings that you described with it. And through journaling or visualizing, imagine your soul going over to that image, that memory. How does your higher self interact with your inner child, that past memory, that past version of you? What do you need from her? Do you need her to change the scenario with you? Do you just need her love? Do you need her to say something? What is it that you need from her? And allow yourself to just be nurtured by her. What is it that you needed? What is it that she gives you? And how does that make you feel now? Describe it. 3 words. I'm going to move on from this exercise, but if you need time, just pause it. It's nuts. It's nuts what your soul and your inner child, the memories that they hold, the wisdom that they have to share. It's amazing what our souls can do for us as a human in this crazy time. And it's a beautiful time to be in. I mean, it's crazy to be in this time of COVID-19 and social isolation. It's a beautiful time that we have the privilege to connect in other ways, to get to know our soul, to have the time and space to get to know ourselves. And there's going to be many, many, many triggers that we all have from COVID-19. There's going to be some that might be even created during this time, but this particular episode, this particular happy hour, is based on isolation because that's my biggest trigger. I can't imagine what it would be like to just be at home. It would be so sad for me. And the memory that came up for me was playing by myself. I always had an imagination. I never felt alone as a kid. Never. I was always having conversations, whether it was between my Barbie dolls or my imaginary friends or my horses or my littlest pet shops. And then that magic disappeared. There's no more conversation. And I was alone. When the magic disappeared, I felt alone. And that's when people came in and they replaced all of those fun times I was having learning about myself through those activities. It's not a bad thing that I love socializing. But it's scary that I don't want to sit with myself and hold space for everything that I have to create in this world. Almost as if I am scared of being seen. I am scared of getting to know my feelings. I'm uncomfortable. It makes me uncomfortable. It makes me uncomfortable thinking of not talking to another human being for hours. Why is that? And I can't answer that for myself, but I can help those little memories of giving myself exactly what I need and then giving it to myself now. So when we work in those past memories, we can bring it into the now. So what my inner child needed was for that magic to continue. And that magic has continued. It has morphed. I don't have conversations anymore with my little spectrobs, but I have conversations with my soul, and I have conversations with my inner child. And I'm never alone. And it's safe to be alone. Kind of. So this exercise is not meant to fix all of your troubles, but it's meant to bring awareness to what is existing inside of you, bring words to your feelings, to your memories, to your thoughts, to your behaviors, to your actions, and naming them. It's the first step to anything. So the social isolation isn't going to, you're not going to just bring your soul right here, right now and be like, fix everything. Because here I am and I can tend to my memories and I can give myself what I need, but something still feels unsafe for me. And I can dig into that more, and I can dig into that more, and I can dig into that more. And this is a couple of decades worth of programming. A couple of decades. So is it going to just take one moment? Hell to the no. But I love bringing awareness to it. It's nurturing. And I do feel held. And then I can tap into it more and reprogram more. Reprogramming has helped me so much. Getting to know my higher self has helped me so much. I wouldn't be on this today if it wasn't for the fact that I have talked with my higher self. I'm really scared to be seen, and I'm really scared to be heard, because I don't know if other people are going to find it valuable. What if I'm just a lone wolf? See, that feeling of aloneness. It comes up in different ways. It's not just staying home alone, but it's afraid that I stand out too much. But I can keep facing my fears, and I can keep giving nurturing wisdom and reprogramming to my inner child, and I can continue to tune into my higher self and exactly what it is that I need, and give myself exactly what it is that I need, so I can continue to show up, so I can continue to heal myself and bring healing to the world. So the Womb Witch Happy Hour is not just to be happy, but to acknowledge everything that is existing for us that day. It's to bring awareness and consciousness. It's okay not to be okay. But we got to be conscious and aware. We can't just be walking around like zombies. It's not what this life was meant to be like. So I have a card reading, and unfortunately I left my cards over there, so give me 1 second. I'll be right with you. So we brought consciousness, we are nurturing ourselves, we're giving ourselves love, we're tapping in, to two of the most crucial things we need to tune into, higher self and inner child, in order to evolve, in order to give ourselves what we need and show up for ourselves and give ourselves that love and to change our ways and our habits. We can do that. So the first card is from The Universe Has Your Back deck by Gabby Bernstein, and I'm sure most of you have heard. What I love about this card is hope is a conduit for miracles. Hope is a freaking conduit for miracles. I have hope that through bringing consciousness and inner child work and higher self work to the Womb Witch channel, to you guys, to myself every day, and showing up for myself every day in connecting with those two, it will change us for the better. And then the second card, I had this idea of loneliness when I picked this card, and I was like, I don't think this card is going to fit. And it's from the Magical Times deck. It's called Flexibility, and it has this mermaid with a fish. And on the card it says, gently flow through the turbulence. Life has the ability to shape you. Bend, don't break. And I was like, oh, so we're being gentle with ourselves. Right now, I feel like it's a lot of turbulence, and life does have the ability to shape me. This is already shaping us, and our memories have shaped us, and programs have shaped us. But we can continue to shape it after it's been happened. We can reprogram. So, flexibility. Today, when the storms of life come blowing, I will bend with them, but not break. I will be brave and let go of the shore with courage. I will not be caught up in the things I cannot change, but focus on what I can and flow. So ask yourself, ask your soul right now, what things can you not change? You can't change COVID-19. You can't. And you can't change the social isolation. But what can you change? How can you choose to connect with yourself? How can you reprogram? Those reprogrammings can change your life. That's what's in your control. You can connect with your higher self. You can connect with your inner child. You can connect with friends and community through Zoom, and you can give yourself a damn hug because you deserve it. You can change the way you look at being alone. You can change your trigger. It might take time, it might take space, but you can change it. And I will swim in the great sea of life and not be afraid of the winds of positive change are on my side. Positive change is coming. It's not just this darkness of the COVID-19 and being alone and social isolation or not being without a job. That's some dark and heavy shit. And maybe you know loved ones who have passed because of COVID-19, and maybe we'll get sick. Maybe all of us will get sick of COVID-19. Those are things we cannot change. But what are some things that are in our control? So this is what I'm going to leave with you. I want you to close your eyes and center into that place once more of the higher self. And instead of asking the mind all of these questions and waiting for rambles of answers, I want you to, in your gut, in your heart space, I want you to ask and feel your soul. How can I flow through this? How can I bring ease and peace and love in today's scenario? What can I do to bring flow, ease, and love into today's scenario? And for me, it's the Womb Witches Happy Hour. It's the tuning into the higher self. It's the tuning into the inner child. Eventually tuning into the heart space and the womb space. And maybe even doing a Google Hangout or a Zoom with a whole bunch of you. I don't know. exactly where my soul is going to bring me, but I do know that this one thing that I can do every day, bringing a half hour of what's on my mind that might be on your mind, and bringing it to a soulful place instead of this chaotic mind of what is. If I can do that, that helps me. It might help you guys. And I want to. I want to help all of us get into that soulful place. I love you guys. And I would love to know what you think of this. I want to know what you need more of. If you want more one-on-one instead of just these videos that pertain to the collective, message me. Right now, we're just doing it by donation. I'm doing it by donation because we most likely there's going to be a lot of you out there that need help and need support, and the standard coaching it's going to be too expensive. And I don't want it to be out of reach. I do not want this mental health, emotional health, and physical health to cost a lot for you. So it's by donation. What can you afford if you can afford it? All you need to do is message me, and we can set up a time where we have more one-on-one, connecting to your higher self, all of your worries, all of your fears, everything that COVID-19 and other life stuff is triggering for you, and more of that hope. We need more hope. We need lots of hope during this time. So I send you off with love. Mwah.